All right, again, welcome. My name is Eric Weinhold. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, welcome to Dickinson College. Congratulations on your achievements so far. As Vesh just said, we're very excited to get to know you in the next few weeks as we go through the application process together. And I will be your contact here. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me. I do encourage you to contact me by email. And I've sent you all an email by now rather than WhatsApp. We don't check the WhatsApp account frequently, so it's best if you can email me if you have any questions. But let's get started. And I don't know how familiar you are with Dickinson, but I'd like to give you an overview of who we are, what we are as a liberal arts college, the kind of education that provides, more about the academic opportunities we provide, student life, where we're located, and information about the application and financial aid process. So Dickinson was founded in 1783. We were the first college founded in the new United States, 6 days after the Treaty of Paris that ended the war between the then Great Britain and the new country of the United States, the former colonies. And why were we started at that point in time? We were founded by signers of the Declaration of Independence. And they believed deeply that this new country needed a new kind of education. We were a revolutionary country. Our form of government was new. It was unique. There was nothing like it in the world. There was lots of new energy and looking at the world in different ways. So they wanted to start a college that would sort of reflect that. So the approach was really to provide an education that was going to be helpful for people, involve our students as global citizens. Excuse me while I get my slides in order here. We were founded in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to now talk a bit about our mission statement. Actually, I'll give you some overview of us, just to give you a sense of who we are a little bit in terms of numbers. And we are a small private liberal arts and sciences college. We're residential, which means all of our students live on campus. We have a little over 2,300 students now. Average class size is 17. Faculty student ratio is 9-to-1, which means that you get a lot of very close support here. This is a place where you are known as an individual. You are not a number. Our classes are small, they're dynamic, they're interactive. We don't have large lecture halls in this campus. So learning is very intimate, very personalized, and very interactive. Our students come from over 40 different countries around the world, 43 states. And we are very diverse. 25% of our students are U.S. students of color, 13% are international. And 92% of our students participate in some kind of activity outside of academics to learn as well. Experiential education. That might be an internship, it might be study abroad, it might be research, it might be doing a fellowship. But we really encourage and actively support students getting outside of the classroom to learn more about the world and more about their academic major and how those are interrelated. And finally, I'll talk more at the end about outcomes and what happens at the end of a Dickinson education. But 95% of our students within 6 months of graduation are either employed or going to graduate school or doing some kind of national fellowship. Our mission is to provide a useful, innovative, interdisciplinary education in the liberal arts and sciences to prepare students to lead rich and fulfilling lives of engaged global citizenship. That's a very long sentence that says a lot, but I'm going to really kind of focus through this presentation on the concepts of useful. How do we provide a useful education? What is that? Innovation, interdisciplinary study, the intersection of two or more disciplines, the most exciting place to be intellectually on a college campus. What are the liberal arts and sciences? How do we prepare our students to lead rich and fulfilling lives of engagement? We want our students to be engaged not only here, but after they graduate. And we prepare students to be global citizens in a very small, interrelated world. So I want to start talking a bit about what a liberal arts and sciences education is, because this is sometimes a very different approach to education for people. And we want to just make you more aware of what kind of education you would receive here. So the liberal arts and sciences is not liberal politically. It's liberal in the sense of it's freeing. It opens up your mind and your intellect to new ways of looking at the world. So it's liberal in that sense. It's not at all liberal politically. And it's not about the arts. It's not about art and drawing and painting. Arts and sciences are sort of the generic names for academic majors and programs. So that includes programs in the sciences, biology, technology, computer science, as well as social sciences, humanities, and the arts. So it's a broad catchphrase. But a liberal arts education has many components. One of them is to give you a broad exposure to a variety of academic disciplines. And I'll talk more about how we specifically do that here at Dickinson. But that's designed to help you understand world complexity, cultural diversity, and change in the world. It gives you that broad knowledge of the world and also of different ways of understanding and looking at the world. You also have in-depth study in a specific area of interest or major. But it really is designed to help develop you, give you a sense of social responsibility, transferable skills. And this is important. Most people don't have the same job for 40 years. That world is gone. So people need to have transferable skills that they can apply in different academic or different job settings as the world changes. And we give people the opportunity to have those skills that are very transferable and gives them a flexibility and creativity they might not otherwise have. It also develops strong communication skills, analytical problem solving skills, and these are really sought after by employers. And again, we also focus our education helping you understand theory in the sense of real world settings. So let me talk now about the curriculum. And this is the core of your experience here. So I mentioned earlier that we have this sort of breadth of study to give you exposure to a variety of different ways of thinking. And at Dickinson, this is what we do in terms of our that breadth of study. We call it distribution requirements. These are a set of courses you have to take in order to graduate. And we really want students not to think of them as requirements, but as opportunities, because this gives you opportunities to study across the curriculum in a variety of different ways to, again, develop the understanding of how academic disciplines and different people have different ways of thinking and approaching problems, but also helping you understand those differences. So one important part of this is the first year seminar. All students take this in their first semester. It's a class of about 15 students taught by a professor. There's a strong research and writing component in the course. You get to choose the courses. You get to choose all these courses. There's the area requirement, but you get to choose a specific course you take to satisfy the requirement. The key part of this, though, is that the professor teaching that class is your academic advisor until you declare your major, because you're not admitted to a major. You have 2 years to explore before you have to declare a major. You can explore one, you can declare one earlier, but you have time to explore. And so to help you with that process, your professor in this class will be your advisor. You're going to spend at least 3 hours a week with your advisor in class. So you form a strong advising relationship and mentoring relationship. This is the person who will help you navigate the curriculum, make decisions about how do I explore options? What if I want to study this? How do I do that? And they'll help navigate that process. Very important in our supportive students, it's academic advising, and it's a really strong component of the entire Dickinson experience, and it starts in your very first semester with your first year seminar. All students take an upper level course in their major in writing, some kind of quantitative reasoning course. It can be math, it can be a philosophy course called logic. There's a variety of different ways of satisfying the requirement. One course each in arts, humanities, social sciences, lab sciences. One course in U.S. diversity, a course in global diversity. We do require study of a second language to the intermediate level. You may be able to satisfy that requirement because of your language background from your home country. And finally, almost unique among colleges and universities in the United States, we require all of our students to take a course in sustainability in order to graduate. It's an important issue in your world. It's going to require problem solving across the curriculum. So 38 of our 46 academic programs offer coursework in sustainability. This is about a third of all the courses you take before you graduate. You don't take them all in the first 2 years. You spread them out over 4 years. And we really encourage students to, again, not see them as requirements, but as opportunities, and really try to select courses that have some kind of coherence that might balance or reflect something you're doing in your major or just areas of interest for you. The next third of your courses will be your academic major. And we offer 46 majors. They're all highlighted in red here. They're also available on the website. A major is typically 10 to 12 classes in a specific discipline. You get in-depth study, usually involves a research component. So you get that depth of study as well as the breadth of study. As I said, you have up until the end of the second year before you have to declare a major. You can declare one earlier. You can declare one in your second semester of your first year. You can also do some other things. You can double major, have two majors, and 45% of our international students will do two majors while they're here. So that's a very popular option. We also offer what we call minors. A minor is 5 classes in another discipline, so not quite as intensive as a major, but again, it gives you a good exposure to another discipline. 40% of our students will minor outside of their major. And those majors, double majors and minors can be related to the major. They can be totally unrelated. And it's really kind of exciting because you have a lot of flexibility and freedom, and we encourage that sort of creativity and the kind of academic programs you put together. We also have academic advising programs like pre-engineering, pre-business management, pre-law. So programs that will help you if you want to go to specific professional fields. And we have some certificate programs as well. So I'd be glad to communicate with you individually about your academic interests and majors. I also want to focus on our STEM majors. Just a second here. My computer is very slow this morning for some reason. We do offer 13 STEM majors. And these are important for you if you're thinking about what we call optional practical training, the opportunity to work in the United States after you graduate. Um, if you major in a STEM major, you can work for up to 3 years in the United States after you graduate. So there's a real advantage to pursuing a STEM major if this is something you're interested in. Some of our very popular ones are data analytics, biology, biochemistry, neuroscience, quantitative economics, and psychology is a new quantitative, or excuse me, a STEM major here. The last third of your courses, I've talked about the breadth of study, the distribution requirements. That's about a third of your courses. Your major is about a third. The last third are electives. You have to take those classes in order to have enough credits to graduate. You can do whatever you'd like with those. And that's where you have space and room to do a second major or to do a minor or even do two minors. So you have a lot of choices to make, a lot of decisions to make about your academic program here, and that's the exciting parts of a liberal arts education. It's not rigor, it's not written in stone. We don't tell you what you have to do. You have agency and control over what you study, and you have a lot of advising support to help you make those decisions. And that's sort of the exciting part of a liberal arts education. I talked about innovation. We were the first college to offer a second language other than Greek or Latin in the United States. We started offering French in the 1790s. We were the first college in the United States to offer field work in the sciences. We took our biology students outside of a lab or classroom and into nature itself to explore nature in its own environment. We took our students downtown, 3 blocks from here, to the county courthouse so they could see courtrooms in action, see trials in action. So the idea of getting out of the classroom, having practical experience, and being innovative is very important to us. It's in our DNA. The most recent example of this is the new Burgess Institute for the Global Economy. This is an exciting development here. The Burgess Institute is an umbrella entity here at Dickinson. While it's talked about global economy, it's not just for economics and business majors. It's for students in any academic program here at the college. So if you're interested, for example, in sustainability or the business of sustainability, this is going to be a great opportunity because students in any major can learn about how business in that field works. But it also provides opportunities for visits by our alumni who are prominent in their fields. We recently had someone here from California who started a very important startup. He actually sold it to Meta, Facebook, for Google for $2 billion. So alumni like that from Dickinson, and they come back and they talk to students in small group settings. So you have access to these people when they do executive and residence programs. We take people to corporate headquarters. We've taken students to Google headquarters in New York. We're taking a group to Wells Fargo in New York this January. So again, the opportunity to actually do on-site visits. We bring alumni back. We have a very strongly developed parent and alumni network for students from all across our academic programs. So this is an exciting opportunity at Dickinson. I mentioned sustainability. This is a core value of the institution. It's very important. It's so important. Again, we require all students to take a course in sustainability. We are carbon neutral. We were the first college in the United States to become carbon neutral, excuse me, the sixth college in 2020. Um, we have a Center for Sustainability here, a lot of programs. We also have the Dickinson Farm, which is a really exciting opportunity for students here. It's an organic farm. It's about 15 kilometers from campus, a little less than that, actually. So we grow a lot of our own food that we serve in the dining halls here seasonally. In the spring, summer, and fall, a lot of the food we serve is grown on our own farm. We also provide food to local food banks and to other entities in the surrounding area. But we do a lot of research there. Our major research project right now is biomass energy. Small agricultural farms are an important part of the agricultural economy here in Pennsylvania. And so we're trying to help farmers develop ways to be less reliant on non-renewable sources of energy like oil and gas. So we've developed a research program that's been grant funded, and we just built $1 million facility to support this, but we collect waste from our dining hall, from restaurants downtown, from other local farms, and we convert that into methane gas as a source of energy. It's a brand new facility, over $1 million. Very exciting research that's being done here. We do the research across the curriculum at the farm. Our theater department uses the farm. They recently staged a play called The Grapes of Wrath, based on a novel by American novelist John Steinbeck, that it's about farmers in the Dust Bowl period of the American Depression in the 1930s. So they built 6 different stage sets, and the audience went from set to set. Most of our academic departments offer coursework on sustainability or engaged with the farm. Students taking business and management courses here are involved with the farm. It's a business. So students taking marketing, accounting, finance get involved with the farm. You can also just volunteer to work at the farm as well, which is really an exciting opportunity. We provide transportation, and you can get involved with the work of the farm. They feed you at the end of the day. So some exciting opportunities. We have our own solar panel farm. We have 6 LEED certified buildings, which meet very rigorous sustainability standards on campus. The admissions office where I'm located this morning is actually one of those buildings. We also have a strong global perspective here at Dickinson. And a lot of people will talk about our study abroad programs. They're very popular. 60% of our students will study abroad. But we also offer 12 world languages. 13% of our students are international. 7% of our faculty are international. We offer 9 area studies programs. This is a campus that if you come to, we engage with the world. Our classes, almost all of our academic programs have international perspectives and focus built into them. We talk about the world. We're engaged with the world. As international students, you'll find a welcoming community. Our students come here from the US to study other languages, to go abroad. So they're very interested in people from around the world. So it's a very welcoming community. But it also means you graduate from here with a very well-developed global perspective. And we're excited about students like you coming to Dickinson because you bring that perspective and share it both in the classroom and outside the classroom. Talk a little bit about our location. We're located in a town called Carlisle. It has about 40,000 residents. It's about 25 minutes from Harrisburg, which is the state capital of Pennsylvania. We're located about 2 hours from Philadelphia, about 3.5 hours from New York City, and about 2 hours from Washington, D.C. So how do you get here? Well, you can fly to a number of major airports in the United States, like Boston, New York, JFK, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and take a flight to Harrisburg. There's a small airport in Harrisburg, again, 25 minutes from campus, so you can fly there. You can also fly to New York or Philadelphia and take the train to Harrisburg. So very easy to get here. I do a lot of international travel. I typically fly out of JFK in New York. I just take the train from Harrisburg to JFK or to New York City. It's 3.5 hours, and it's about another half hour out to JFK. So easy to get to on public transportation. We're 25 minutes from Harrisburg. You can take an Uber or a taxi at various times of the year around vacation breaks. We do provide van transportation free of charge to students to get them to the airport or the train station. So easy to get to. But again, some of the nice area. We're close to a lot of major cities. Carlisle itself is a very old town, very historic, very beautiful community here. Hopefully you've done the virtual tour. You can get a sense of what the community and the town look like. But it's a very beautiful place. We're right in town. And I think that's a real advantage for Dickinson is we're not separated from the community. We are right in the town of Carlisle. So we're fully engaged with residents. We live in the community. We're engaged in the community as well. And again, it's kind of a neat city. It's a nighttime. I love living here. Most of the admission staff, people live here. There are about 25 restaurants within a 10-minute walk of campus. My favorite is Yek and Yati. It serves food from Nepal and Bhutan. We also have a Belgian restaurant, a French creperie, Asian restaurants, vegan, vegetarian. So a great variety of food options. A great Indian restaurant actually as well. Um, and so there's a great bookstore. There's a theater downtown that shows movies and sometimes hosts concerts. There's coffee shops. There's a farmer's market every Wednesday year round where they sell food and produce from local farming farms that's available to students. We're about 6 miles from what's called the Appalachian Trail. It's a hiking trail that goes all the way from the state of Georgia all the way to the northeast and to the state of Maine. Um, and it's a very popular hiking trail. So if you like outdoor activities, we're in a great location. We're a great location if you like running or biking. It's relatively flat with gentle rolling hills, easy access to get to. Um, and we are engaged with the towns. Our students do internships here. We do volunteer community service in town. We do research with the community. So it's a nice living environment for our students. We also have a number of local international grocery stores. This is about 7 miles from campus. I stopped at this store just last weekend. We have two Nepali food stores, grocery stores here right in Carlisle. This is about 6 miles away, 7 miles away. So it is possible to buy food from South Asia here. Our dining halls all have kitchens, so if you want to get together with your friends and do some home cooking, you can do that very easily here. And there is a relatively large South Asian community in the adjacent area here as well. What happens when you're not in the classes at Dickinson? Well, there's a lot going on. And I talked about engagement earlier, and engagement's very important for us. We want students to be engaged outside the classroom for a variety of reasons. One is for your own mental health. As you probably know from your own school experience, having those interests and activities outside of academics is really healthy for you. It gives you a way to think differently, use different parts of your brains, develop talents and skills, and just have some fun. So we really encourage that here at Dickinson. So students can participate in over 110 clubs or organizations that can be athletics and sports. It can be music. It can be cultural. It can be politics. It can be almost anything, journalism, communications. So a wide variety of opportunities here. As I mentioned, we are residential. Students are required to live on campus for all 4 years. And we do that very intentionally because this is one time in your life when you can live with people all over the world with different academic interests, different ways of looking at the world in a very close setting. And that's really advantageous when you're in the classroom, but you also learn so much from each other outside of the classroom in residence halls by participating in these clubs and activities. And so there are a variety of housing opportunities, traditional residence halls, the first couple of years. After that, you can continue in a residence hall or live in apartments or suites. We have a variety of options for upper class students. The other reason we encourage students to participate in these clubs and activities is to develop what employers call soft skills. Skills that employers really like to have you walk in the door with. The ability to work with different kinds of people, to have had experience with a project or doing something and bringing it to fruition, to an end. So people like to have you with those skills, and you can develop those here. And in talking with our career development office, they said it's one of the most important things that for all of our students to do when they're job hunting at time of graduation is to have soft skills that they can really demonstrate to employers. One of the clubs or organizations that's very popular here is our South Asian Cultural Club. And that's students from Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and India. This fall, they had a mock shadi or a wedding as a way to sort of showcase South Asian culture. So this is a picture of the students who were involved with that really important and exciting event, which was very well attended. It was very popular. They do other programming throughout the year as well. So this is something you may want to be involved with if you come here as a student, including in one of our next junior students is actually in that picture as well. So now I want to turn to the application process and financial aid process for a few moments. So I've sent you an email with links to the application process, financial aid, but I want to kind of go over those, especially as Next Genius, it's a little bit different. So as Devesh said, the application deadline is January 1st. I strongly encourage you to have the common application submitted before then, because as soon as you do that, you get access to what we call your application portal. That's the mechanism you have to know what's been received in your application or what's missing. We also provide a lot of other information through the portal. That doesn't happen until we receive the common application. So I really encourage you to try to get that in as early as possible. Um, and also just to understand where we're going to come from in terms of our timeline, we are closed from Saturday, December 21st through Sunday, January 5th for the U.S. holiday vacation. We are not open. We are not processing application materials. So if you submit your application after December 20th, we're not going to see it and process it until January 6th. So if you could get it in before the 21st, that would be fantastic. That gives you access to the portal. And again, the timeline's very tight for this. So we need all the supporting material as quickly as possible. Academic transcripts and exam scores, especially if you're involved in the Indian curriculum. We would need, if you're doing CBSE or ISCE, we need your standard 10 pass certificate, your statement of marks, but also the pass certificate. And we need from your school your predicted scores for your standard 12 exams. That's the same with if you're doing IGCSEs and IB or IGCSEs and A levels. We need your exam scores from grade 10 or standard 10, and also your predicted scores for standard 12. So you need to work closely with your faculty and your counselor, your advisor at school for that. We need 2 academic recommendations, one from your guidance counselor and one from a teacher, and you do that through the common application. We are test optional. We do not require SATs or ACTs. You're welcome to submit them, but you do not have to. It does not hurt you in the process if you don't submit them. If you're happy with your scores, you'd like to see those, definitely submit them. The official score should be submitted to us. You can also report your scores on the application, but we also will need the official score sent to us from College Board or the ACT organization. So those are the requirements. The other one is what we call the certification of finances. And this is a document that oftentimes causes one of the greatest challenges for students in completing their application. This is a document that's used if you are admitted to issue you the I-20, which you need for a student visa. We require it at time of application because it tells us how much funding you and your family are committed to providing toward the cost of your education. We do not provide full scholarships to Dickinson, so you and your family will need to be able to provide some degree of funding to attend Dickinson. And we learned about that through the certification of finances. And you have access to this online document after you submit your application and have the portal. That's, again, another reason why getting your application in as soon as possible is really important, because then you can access the online certification of finances. The instructions for the certification of finances are in the International Admissions webpage that I sent you, and I'm going to send you this link again today. The reason this is challenging is you have to provide financial documentation to support the financial information you're providing. So if your family's can provide funding from a bank or savings or from income, you need to document that funding from a bank with a bank statement or a certification of income from an employer. And it has to be converted to US dollars and in English. So that can take some time. So I'm not going to go into greater detail because the instructions are more comprehensive, and I'd be glad to communicate with you individually if you've got questions about that process. But it's important that you start thinking about that and be working with your financial institutions and employers of your parents so you can get that material to us. Your application will not be considered complete until we receive a certification of finances and the supporting documentation. The important part of the application for us, there are 2 really important parts. So one is your engagement outside of the classroom, your clubs and activities, extracurricular involvements. As I mentioned, we want you to be engaged here. We want our alumni to be engaged. So we like to get a sense of how you've been engaged outside of school or in school currently. The other part is the personal statement or essay, where we learn about you. We're not able to interview everybody that wants to come to Dickinson, so this is the best way to get to know you. Be sure that you answer the question on the common application. There are 6 different prompts you can select. Be sure you answer the question. If you select a prompt that's about an event or experience that's impacted your life, don't just tell us about the event or experience. Tell us how it impacted you. This is meant to be introspective and for us to learn something about you as a person and an individual. And finally, scholarships and financial aid. As you know, the Next Genius Scholarship, and we offer one of those, is a full tuition scholarship. That's about $63,000 this year. We can also provide additional funding. You could also be admitted and provided with regular international financial aid. The financial aid that we provide to international students that takes place in the form of grants and scholarships a small loan component, and on-campus employment. So even if you don't get the one Next Genius scholarship, it is still possible to be admitted and awarded financial aid to attend Dickinson. We are need aware, so we do look at your family finances as part of our admissions decision. Funds are limited, so we do expect and require that you provide some degree of funding from your family or sponsors. So the important thing is filling out a financial aid application. That's the CSS profile application, and that's available online. We sent you the links to that. If you're not able to provide that, contact me and we can provide you with an international student financial aid application, but we really prefer and get better information from the profile application. We use that application to determine what we think you and your family can contribute based on your family income, assets, property, size of family, and a whole other series of factors. And we use that to determine how much aid we need to provide you in order to attend Dickinson. So again, I'm going over this really quickly, but I'd be glad to answer questions by email, and we'll have a few minutes, I think, at the end of this to have some questions as well. So finally, I want to talk about outcomes. What happens at the end of your 4 years at Dickinson? Well, our students do very well at Dickinson. And again, 95%, 96% are employed or going to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. These are some of the companies and organizations that have hired our students recently. Google, actually, a lot of our students go to Google from a variety of majors, including computer science. I can tell you also that for the class, international students who just graduated the class of 2024, all but one are either going to graduate school or employed. How does that happen here? Well, part of it's because of the kind of education you receive here. A rigorous education. You develop communication skills, analytical skills, problem-solving skills. You do research here. You study in depth. You get internship opportunities, research opportunities. You're very well prepared for both graduate school and employment. Our Office of Career Development works very closely with international students. We just met with them. We have an annual meeting with them every year. We just met with them last week to talk about how they support international students. They do a lot of work with international students. They know that sometimes it can be challenging to get a job because you are an international student. They know the companies that hire students. They know the companies that don't hire international students, and they'll steer you toward the right kind of companies. They'll also help you realize that, yes, you all may want to work at Google, but you also sometimes have to start elsewhere. So there's a lot of great options. When I was in India in the fall, I kept hearing that it was really hard to get a job if you're a computer science major. It's not if you're a Dickinson student. All of our computer science students are employed or going to graduate school. Why is that? Because of our reputation in the business community, because of the kind of students we produce, because of the kind of skills they have, because they know how to network, they know how to interview, they know how to provide cover letters, they've done their research. So our students do very well working with Career Development Office here. We have what we call career communities. There are about 8 or 9 of them. One is finance and technology, one is technology and science, and you work with a specific career advisor, an expert in those industries that really helps you network and understand the opportunities, makes you aware of internship opportunities. So you get a lot of support here, and our students do very well because of who we are, because of our reputation, the kind of students we produce, what they learn here, but also because of the kind of career development work that we do with our students. We also have a very strong alumni and parent network that students can engage with. We know that 70% of our students get their jobs through networking. So we do a lot of work with really developing those networks for you and helping you have the networking skills you need to access them. So a lot of support and a lot of success here with career placement. So I'm going to stop sharing now and see if anyone has any questions. I know that was a lot of information in a very short period of time, and I'm sorry we went through it really quickly. I'm sorry for the delay in my PowerPoint. It was working at the end. I don't know if it's just tired. It's morning time here, so maybe my computer was tired. So, but do any of you have any questions? And you can just raise your hand or ask a question in the chat room. Fatima, you raised your hand.
So I have a question is that if I want to do double degree, like one in data science and another one is business, like can I do that? One.
Yes, yes. Yeah, very easily. So we encourage those double majors or major and a minor. Interdisciplinary study is the most exciting, as I said earlier, the most exciting place to be intellectually. We really encourage that. And you can make any combination. Sometimes people think, oh, I've got to do 2 majors that are related to each other. You could do studio art and computer science if you wanted to. They don't have to be related. So there's some really creative combinations that take place here, but we really encourage you. And again, because of the advising, you get a lot of support to plan that out, to see what it looks like, that to make an informed decision. So, but yeah, very much encouraged and very possible to do here.
So, when applying, should I need to mention that I want to do two majors?
You can, but it doesn't really make that much difference. On the common application, we ask you to indicate your top three choices of academic major. You're not admitted to those. It just gives us a sense of what you're interested in. You actually all come in undecided until you declare your major. But it does help us to get to know what your academic plans are. So it's nice to know that information, but it's not required. So
One last one. If
okay,
I do that two majors together, for the data science one, will that be considered as a STEM major? Will
yes,
I
yes,
get the
yes,
opportunity like the?
yes,
Okay, great. Thank
yes,
you.
yeah, great. Sadridi, you have a question.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good as well. I just had two questions. One is that I wanted to know if it's mandatory for freshmen to live on campus or is it like a flexible policy?
No, all students are required to live on campus for all 4 years.
Okay, all
And
four
again, we
years.
want you to have that interact. We want you to be on campus to experience, the Dickinson College experience, basically. But
Uh,
because the interaction you have with people, we also don't want you living off campus and having to worry about rent and landlords and all of that. And also, it's just there's a lot going on, so you benefit from being on campus and engaging in the activities as well. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I wanted to know that there's like, I saw the Common App and there's an optional essay which is there on the Common App. So is
yes.
it like weighted or is it just
No,
to?
it's just an opportunity for you to provide additional information that you may not have been able to provide in the personal statement. If there's a
Mhm.
special situation or something that you want us to know about you, you can do that. It's not required. It's just an opportunity for you to provide additional information.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Thank you.
Right. Okay, thank you. Jaya?
Greetings to you, Mr. Greenhold. So I have one question to ask you in specific. So basically, I come from an American school and I'm a senior right now. So I wanted to, can you be like a little bit more specific about the about the English proficiency requirements for the students who are coming from an American school,
Yeah,
or
I should have mentioned that you